Find the area of this triangle right here. Well, the area of a triangle is 1/2 of base times height. I have a base, but you know what I don't have? I don't have a height. So what I can do is I can realize that this is an isosceles triangle, boom, boom, boom. And if it's an isosceles triangle, that means the height is going to go directly down the middle. So why don't I cross you out and say that one of these triangles right here is going to be 4.8. Nope, 3.8. 3.8. 3.8. Okay. So how can I find that height? I'll call you h. Well, if I split this big triangle into two smaller triangles, I now have a right triangle. And if I'm trying to find the missing side of a right triangle, I use an old friend called Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm going to call you C because you represent the hypotenuse of this right triangle right here. I'll call you A and I'll call you B because it really doesn't matter which one's A or B as long as you call the hypotenuse C. So I'm going to call A H, so H for my height squared, plus B, which is 3.8 squared, is going to equal C, which is 5 squared. 3.8 squared is 14.44, so I will write that out. That's going to equal 5 squared, which is 25. In order to get h all by itself, I have to subtract 14.44 from both sides, so minus 14.44. Drop down the h squared, and that's going to give us 10.56. Now, in order to get squared all by itself, I have to square root it. Not squared all by itself. In order to get rid of squared, I have to square root both sides. So that crosses out. I'm dealing with triangles, so I don't have to worry about this symbol right here. I've talked about that in previous videos, and if you're like, what? Never mind. I don't know what the square root of 100 or of 10.56 is, so I'm going to go off to the side and ask my phone. And it's awful. So it's 249615 blah blah blah. So I'll do 3.25. I think that should do it. If it's 3.296, I think 3.25 should do it. 3.2496, that should do it. So that represents the height of my triangle. So let's get rid of all this stuff now that I've gotten rid of it. Okay. What do I know? Well, I now know my height is 3.25. Ish. I have my height. I have my base. Let's plug it all into the formula. A equals 1/2 of my base, which is 7.6, times my height, which is 3.25. I have zero clue what this is off the top of my head, so I'm going to go off to the side and ask my phone again. And the old phone says 12.35. So I'm not going to circle that. Most teachers would be fine with it, but I'm going to say my area is 12.35. I look up here for units. I don't have any, so I will say units squared because whenever you're given area, you should give some type of unit, even if you're not given a unit. And when you're finding area, it's always units squared, feet squared, inches squared, whatever. Okay, but that's how we find the area using Pythagorean theorem.